Morning, good morning, good morning. This is my last live from the United Kingdom. I might go live when I'm on holiday because I'm sad like that. But good morning. Hope you are all well and you can see me here hiding out on LinkedIn. I wanted to talk to you about Netflix today, not literally Netflix, but how LinkedIn is like Netflix. Because if you kind of get the message I'm sharing this morning, it'll actually really help you do better on social media. So do you like my BBC footer at the bottom? I'm just playing with it to try and do this and see what it looks like. But I want to share with you why I think LinkedIn is like Netflix and how that helps you. So this is really, really important because a lot of people fall foul of this. And I've said this in lots of different ways, but I really want to kind of unpack this at 7 in the morning. I want to unpack this as you're just barely opening your eyes, most people. I want to kind of unpack this because I think this will massively change the game for you. So this is my attempt to help at 7 in the morning. So do let me know where you're joining from. The chat's working this morning. So all of you are saying hello yesterday. I didn't see you. I wasn't being ignorant. I just didn't see you. So do say hello. Good morning, Rakesh. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to attempt to share my screen. And hopefully this will go well. Because if it doesn't, I'm kind of screwed. But what I want to do is I want to share my screen and I'm going to show you what I mean by LinkedIn is like Netflix. So just whilst everybody's joining, say hello in the chat. Hi, Steve. So it's nice people are awake and alive and seeing me. I'm going to share my screen. I'm going to put Netflix up. And hopefully you can see this in a second. There we go. Right, let me get myself back on screen as well. Where can I put me? I'll put me at the side. There we go. Right, so this is Netflix, right? We've seen Netflix before. We're not strangers to Netflix. Morning, John. Why is LinkedIn like Netflix? Well, it's really, really simple, right? The reason why LinkedIn is like Netflix is because oddly, we are probably in exactly the same state of mind. Most of our target audience are in exactly the same state of mind browsing Netflix as we are on LinkedIn. Now, you might go, what? Really? Hi, Duncan from Qatar. Hi, Steve. We are, when we're on social media, our full brain capacity is not engaged. Let's just be honest about it. It's not. We are browsing something. And Netflix is classic. When sometimes we're on Netflix, we're browsing and we don't really know what we're browsing for. But Netflix knows that there's a couple of things that needs to be achieved for you to actually download and watch a film or watch a movie on Netflix. So if you get this, it will massively change the way you approach LinkedIn. First things first, most people are looking for some form of distraction. That's what movies are about. It's to get us immersed in something else that's going on. LinkedIn is no different. LinkedIn's primary objective is to get a crowd of people to be active on the platform. That's LinkedIn's top priority. You can say, oh, they want to build a community. They want to do this. They want to do that. Their revenue model, I'm telling you, their revenue model, somewhere in their revenue model is we've got to get people to stay on the platform and spend time on the platform. It's built into their business model. Just like Netflix knows, if you don't watch movies on Netflix or documentaries or series, you will cancel your subscription. It's the same premise, right? Everybody's still with me here, right? Don't lose me here because this is really important and will help you no end. So when we come onto Netflix, apart from the fact that we spend a lot of time trying to find something to watch, what do we do on LinkedIn? We spend a lot of time scrolling. Yeah. What are we scrolling for? Anybody know why we're scrolling on LinkedIn? We're looking for something, but we don't know what. So when Netflix is showing all of this on their screens, when they're showing all of this stuff, maybe I'll flick this off now. When they're showing us all this stuff, they're basically trying to get our attention. So the first thing we see on the Netflix app is something that gets our attention, that gets us to stop scrolling. So what do? We look at the image, we look at the picture and go, is the picture what we see in front of us? Does it look exciting or interesting? Does it look like something we would want to engage with? That's the first thing. How does that movie, that documentary, that thing get people to stop scrolling and then click through to read the bio or the description of the film? Sorry, I'm going to put it back up. I'm going to put it back up because this is so important, guys, that if you grab hold of this, it will be massive for you. So I'm going to share it again. All right. And I'll show you. Oh, hang on. What we do. Everybody with me? Right. I know this is kind of a bit techie for early in the morning, right? We scroll on Netflix, right? And we look at these little previews to go, oh, this is interesting. Now, I'm a bit of a crazy sci-fi buff, so immediately I see top secret UFO projects declassified. So what am I going to do? I want to look at that and I want more about it. And then there's that little teaser text that gets you hooked or interested. Is this something that will get my appetite going? And this is the teaser text, basically. If this doesn't get me hooked, nothing will. So Netflix will put these little preview videos and all this kind of stuff to get you hooked to pay attention. If you don't do this, if they don't have this, you end up whereby people don't watch the film. So a lot of your success on LinkedIn, because we're in scrolling mode, yeah, we're not engaging our full brain capacity on social media. I know that's offensive, but it's true. We literally pick based on pictures. And on LinkedIn, the feed is all about getting people's attention, getting them to stop scrolling. Netflix's films, the previews are there to get you to stop scrolling, whet your appetite, and get you engaged. If your posts don't do that, you will never build an audience. Then the next stage of the piece of content is, can I get people to pay more attention, to invest a little bit? So that could be they read the preview, they watch the trailer, but get them to invest a little bit more into the content. Then the final stage is get them to watch it. But again, all the way through that process, I put a Netflix movie on, and if it hasn't interested me in the first 2-3 minutes, I'm turning it off. We spend hours scrolling on Netflix looking for something. This is a LinkedIn point, by the way, but if you get this, if you understand how you behave on Netflix, you can understand how other human beings behave on LinkedIn. Now, when it comes to getting people to engage with you, of course, you can do the emotional thing and tell a story of some personal tragedy or some good news or something like that. But actually getting people to engage with you on a long-term basis is about adding value. Adding value. Now, here's one of the things that people get really tied in knots about with this. Some people are joining and saying hello. Here's what people tie themselves in knots about, right? People think that you need a gazillion different pieces of content. The most impactful thing that you can do on LinkedIn is have one very consistent message. One very consistent message. You might think you're repeating yourself, and you probably are, but that's okay, because it takes people a while to get the message. If you look on Netflix, you've probably scrolled past movies multiple times. And what you'll notice is Netflix change the covers of the movies. So every so often you'll get a different graphic for the same movie you've seen before. Why do they do that? Because different angles appeal to different people. And so sometimes saying something one way, people don't get it. But then when you say it another way, people absolutely get it. And your job is not really to churn out tons and tons of new content. Your job is to use one singular message and repurpose that into content. So if I sound like a stuck record, I am. Some people earn millions from saying the same routine, the same speech over and over and over again. Some people earn millions going to different meetings and saying the same speech. LinkedIn is exactly the same. If you're coming up with new things to say all the time, you're thinking about it wrong. You have one thing to say. One thing. You've got to land one message. Your job is not to create lots of new messages. It's to land one message concisely and consistently in different ways. Good morning, David from Harrogate. Your job is one message. You've just got one message to punch through all that noise, right? I know we're in the middle in the UK here of picking our, well, we're not picking, some other people are picking, but we're in the middle of picking our new prime minister. Yep. And nobody's looking at the policies, really. It's all sound bites. And this is really, should we be looking at policies and scrutinizing people more? Yes, we should. We should be scrutinizing people more, but we don't. We don't. We make judgments on sound bites. Boris Johnson got elected, whether you love him or hate him, right? He got elected by saying, get Brexit done, get Brexit done, get Brexit done. There's a lesson there. There's a lesson there. Whilst the Labour Party at the time had this big document full of policies that were costed and everything, Boris is driving a tractor through a brick wall saying, get Brexit done. Now, I'm not saying that that's right, but what I am saying is there's a lesson there that sometimes we just have to land one message consistently and it will break through all the noise. But we tire of it. We get bored of it. We get fed up of it. And so we want to change it. We think we should change it because people aren't responding. That's not how it works. If you look at all successful marketing, whether you're a solopreneur or a CEO, right? It's based on repetition. So there's some mechanics about getting attention, which we looked at in the Netflix piece, getting the attention, drawing them in, teasing the value so they invest in the content. Sound familiar? It's exactly what you should be doing on LinkedIn. But the actual, your Netflix should be effectively lots of different pieces of content, lots of different movies, but actually the storyline or the plot is exactly the same. Yeah. So you get fed up with your message. You shouldn't be getting fed up with your message. You need to drum it in, bang a drum. Not the same post, exactly the same, but just say the same things in different ways. And in my content course on our website, I actually tell you how to break this down. But once you do this, it takes all the stress away from it because now you're not inventing new things to say. You're just finding new ways to say the same thing, which is different. And it's easier because all you have to do is give people, for an example, give you an example. I could do a series of videos like this every morning, and I could do LinkedIn is like Netflix. Then the next day I could do LinkedIn is like Apple. And I could give you a lesson from each company and show you what you can learn for your own LinkedIn strategy. Why? One of my messages is you can grow your business organically on social media. So LinkedIn is obviously my biggest channel. It's the most, I think, the most straightforward channel for B2B business. All of the other ones, particularly TikTok, you've got a lot more time to put into it, a lot more skills you have to learn. So when you look at it and you go, okay, This is really straightforward. I've got one message. I've got to land it in lots of different ways and basically bang a drum. You are bidding to be, whether you've got need 10 clients, 1,000 clients, 1,000,000 clients, you are trying to run an election campaign. And an election campaign, it's not about lots of messages. It's about one message that punches through everything else. So this is where people get lost. This is where people get stuck because they think, oh, I've got to say different things. No, that's a surefire way to confuse people. If you want to grow your business on LinkedIn, my message is all about that. And I have to literally bang a drum. Even when I think I've said everything, I say it a different way. So tomorrow, if I'm stumped for ideas, I might be on here going, let me tell you what you can learn about from Amazon that will help you grow on LinkedIn. It's dead simple. Pick a topic, pick a message, and bang that drum consistently over and over and over and over and over. That's what you've got to do in content. If you're not doing that, you will get stuck. You will end up where you don't know why things aren't working, and you won't be able to get any predictability on your leads or your revenue coming in from LinkedIn. I built my business using LinkedIn. We started out with a little marketing agency, marketing consultancy, and that's what I did. I banged a drum on LinkedIn. Now, of course, over time, I've dropped some of the things that we used to do, like website design and things like that. We don't do so much of that. And we went all in on, we can help people grow their business on LinkedIn through training, coaching, consulting, and services. That's what we went in on. Why? Because we could punch through the noise because we were focused. I wasn't going to niche down into a particular industry or vertical. The reason being is I've never met anybody niching down, and this is controversial. I think it's controversial. Niching, everybody says niche down, niche down, niche down, niche down. But why? Because you can make a more focused message. That's true. So if you go, I help coaches and consultants grow on LinkedIn, you will punch through the noise a little easier. The problem is it can also back you into a corner because what you can do is you can brand yourself in a particular vertical, and that vertical can change, and then you're basically back to square one. So I've focused on our business having basically two elements. We've got our small business solopreneur division. That's my baby. I love that bit because I love helping small businesses, owner managed businesses. I love that. So that's my baby. And with that side, it's all about growing a business on social media, and we bang that drum. What you won't see on LinkedIn is Dean talking about the corporate side so much, which is where we work with big enterprises. We don't use LinkedIn for that bit. That's off there, and we bang a totally different drum and a totally different message that's not on LinkedIn for that group. We might say about it a little bit, but to be honest with you, it's not there. That bit is on a different channel and a different medium. Why? Because we don't want to confuse our message. So that channel is for corporate, and this channel is for solopreneurs and small businesses. But that's the power of focusing a message. And Netflix is a really good example. If you study, tell you what, when you go home tonight, if you've got, hi James, two James, hi Rich, hi Michael. When you go home tonight after work, when you go home, or when you go to work and come home, go have a look at how you scroll Netflix. Look at what you do. Netflix and LinkedIn are massively similar in terms of how we behave. We look at the pictures, we look at what we see, and we decide, should we have a look? That's exactly what your content should be doing. Look at the pictures, look at what we see, and decide. And you're in charge of that. You design that cover. You design that preview. Yeah. And if I look on LinkedIn, maybe I should be brave. Maybe I'll be brave and I'll look on LinkedIn. Just so you're aware, by the way, I'm doing this. One, I'll just tell you why I kind of go live so much now these days, because that might help you too. So one of the reasons why I go live so much is simply because human beings absorb more information from videos than they do anything else. Yep. I know that sounds really silly, but it's true. I don't like doing videos, but I do them because it's, the nature of the beast. So that's why I do videos so often. I don't particularly choose to, and I'd rather not do videos, but I do. So let me just show you. So here's LinkedIn. There's Mavi, my dog, right? Just have a look, right? Think about it like Netflix, right? What gets your attention? Well, Jade's picture here gets your attention because it's bright, it's vibrant. There's a little teaser, and of course, it's a bit of mystery. There's Mavi. But ask yourself, how many of these previews will get your attention? How many of these previews will get your attention and get you to actually look in and tease, oh, let's have a look in more detail? They're getting better, but a lot of them are not really designed to draw you in. A lot of them look like, you're not interested. So you can tell and you can see most of the things that you're looking for, you're trying to get people to draw in to have a look. And that's exactly how Netflix works. That's exactly how LinkedIn works. So I'm doing the video because people kind of engage a little more because it's video. But actually, more people get to know me, the more people see me. This is an election campaign. We're all in an election campaign. Yeah. It's vote Dean, it's vote James, it's vote Rich, it's vote Michael, it's vote David. That's what it's about. We're all in an election campaign. Vote John, vote Duncan, vote Steve, vote Rakesh. We're all in an election campaign. And so we need that one powerful piece of content, that one message, that masterpiece of content that you can break down and spread, that gives people your campaign message and they buy into it. They vote for it because you've created that message that punches through the noise and people see it, they get it, they understand it. I've mixed my metaphors here a little bit with Netflix and election campaigns, but the principle is true. You've got to have one strong message, you've got to get people's attention for it, and you've got to bang that drum over and over. The amount of times Netflix shows me the same film in different categories, it's unreal. But that's when they're trying to get you to watch something. So think about this. If you go away, go look at Netflix, look at your behavior on Netflix. You're not at full brain capacity, so your content should be trying to appeal to your attention, get your attention. But you've got one message you've got to punch through all of that noise. Be certain you're punching with the right message, because if you're not, people will go, yeah, that Dean's a decent guy, but I don't know how he can help me. I don't know how he can help me. Or they don't even think about how you can help you. Yeah. So Netflix, elections. You are a film competing on the LinkedIn app. You are the latest film to be released competing on the LinkedIn app. You got to get that attention and draw people in. And you got one singular, powerful message. You've got to punch through all of that noise so people get it. It might take you 7, 8, 9, 10, 15, 50 times to land that message. And somebody will go, I'm just dropping you a message. I've seen some of your posts. And that's the line. That's the line. Lots of people on LinkedIn talk about the line. And that's the line. When you've punched through the noise with people through your content, you get the, I've been seeing your content for a while now. And it's the message people go, I now understand what you can do. I now see the value of what you can do. And that's what your content's there to achieve. But if you defy or try and break the rules of Netflix, it's not going to work. So you got one message. You can't escape the rules of Netflix. And you can't escape the fact that people are going to have to see you multiple times, many times. So think about it like this. I'm going to shut up in a minute. Think about it like this. Every post that you do that has a singular message, every post that you do has a singular message and also understands the laws of Netflix, that you do is bringing you one step closer to more customers. Now, of course, I'm not posting to one person when I'm on LinkedIn. I'm posting, morning, David, morning, Mike. I'm posting to thousands of people, tens of thousands of people. So I am using my content, using the rules of Netflix and my singular message, obviously repurposed. I'm getting that in front of thousands of people. So whereas in a networking, one-to-one networking, I'm talking to one person and I can get my message out concisely into one person, I'm getting a percentage of my message every day out into thousands of people. So the more I do this, the more I move those people up to the point where they go, Dean can help me get more clients from LinkedIn. And then they reach a point where they're going, I need clients from LinkedIn and Dean's the man. So they come and reach out to me. That's what I'm doing. That's what you should be doing. Don't think about content as one post will change everything. It's about 20 or 30 posts somebody has to see and get a decent understanding of for them to really grab hold of what you have to offer. So you either go, I'm not playing that game, or you play that game and make your sales process easier. And I'll tell you, it's much easier to convert people if they've had 20, 30 exposures to you through content. 10 times easier, a gazillion times easier. Why? Because all the trust's been done. They've got to know you, albeit virtually, and they've got a vibe of whether they want to work with you already. So half of the battle of building that trust and credibility is done and nailed fast. Morning, David. So that's the key here. Netflix election, play that game. It is a game. You have to play the game to win it. And then you'll find people, as you build your audience, as you do it, as you get that one singular message nailed, you start to make it work. I've just completed, last week I completed a intake of the 100 leads program. And everybody's getting 2 or 3 leads a week now. Does it need to go more? Of course they need more. 2 or 3 is not enough. But over the course of the program, they've ramped it up from 0 to 2 or 3 a week in 6 weeks. Now their job is to amp that up even more. Yeah. So that they're getting to that 100, 100 a week, 100 every 6 weeks, which is roughly enough to sustain. It's enough leads to sustain most businesses, most small businesses. But that's what you've got to do. Good morning, Emmanuel. Any questions from anybody this morning? I'm starting to enjoy doing these lives, actually. I don't know whether it's, so you might be watching this and going, Dean, what the hell are you talking about? But I actually love just getting stuff out and sharing what I'm thinking, because there's so much stuff that we just miss. When I look in my inbox on LinkedIn and I look at some of the content and I go, how do you tell people there's a better way without either looking salesy or insulting them? It's really tricky. You kind of go one way and miss it, and you go the other way, and it's like, but it's just what happens is we get so eager to get a result. We're so eager to get a result that actually we kind of mess it up. Oh, David's just asked, what's the Netflix game? Well, the Netflix game, David, I'll just kind of repeat it because there's probably some other people who've joined. LinkedIn's like Netflix. If you go on Netflix, you're scrolling. You don't know what you're exactly scrolling for, but you're flicking, looking for something. People on LinkedIn are exactly the same. They're scrolling on LinkedIn, looking for something. They're not coming to look for the latest in-depth analysis of X, Y, or Z. They're just browsing. And on Netflix, we're looking for, what can I do? I need to pass the time. I'm browsing. And so Netflix then shows you previews of content in their feed and pictures, and the way something looks, the way the movie is presented or the documentary or the series is presented is designed to get your attention. That's how we use LinkedIn. Then when we click the preview, there's a bit of text, there's maybe a trailer, but there's a bit of it to try and get your interest and get you hooked. So you'll invest in the content. There's a piece that's literally there to try and convince you to invest in the content. And what I'm saying is, our Netflix game is we have to understand that that's how people work. They look at what they see in the feed and go, is this the right people? Does this look interesting and relevant to me? Has it got my attention? I'll have a look at it. And then the next stage, so what they see in the feed is the first part. The second part is what they see next that will get them to invest in the content, i.e. watch it. And if you have that in your mind as you approach LinkedIn, it will change the way you do content, because you're just a movie appearing in the feed. You've got to get attention. That's the first thing. The other thing I've noticed, I'm going off on a tangent again, but do you know, on Netflix, is it me or is Bruce Willis producing a film like every 3 or 4 days? I mean, I see a film from him every 3 or 4 days at the moment. And it's like, my God, what are you doing? I know he's retiring now, but he's made a ton of movies in the last year, like maybe one a week. Anyway, that's another thing. So the Netflix game is really important. Understanding that your LinkedIn game is a Netflix game. Get the attention in the feed, draw them in so that they'll invest in the content. And the more people do that, if you've got a consistent message, guess what? People remember Dean, consistent message. And those two things become connected. And over a period of posts, not one post, not 5 posts, but over a period, and every person's different, people learn the value you can bring. And it's much easier to close somebody who already sees the value. It's much easier to close a client from somebody who's seen you in their feed for a month, 2 months, whatever it is. It's much easier. So that's why I'm a strong advocate of content, but then also building systems that will allow you to convert leads, what we call low-hanging fruit, without ads or without those really dodgy looking sales pitches. So, hopefully you've got this. You're in an election campaign. You can't ignore the Netflix game. That's the reality. If you want to really win on LinkedIn, those two things, if you do those two things, you will absolutely nail it. I'm going to sign off in a minute, but I really appreciate you guys coming and joining me this morning, whether you're in bed or whether you're on the way to work. I really appreciate it. If you've got value from my rambling this morning, please do come follow me, hit my bell on my profile so you get notified every time I do something. And if you want to solve this whole, I want business and clients from LinkedIn, drop me a line. But for now, I'm signing off. Have a wonderful day. And this is my last day live in the UK because I'm going on holiday tomorrow. But I am a LinkedIn addict, so I'm sure I'll crop up and do some stuff, probably from a nice, sunny, warm location, which is good. So have yourselves a really good